out to be the most complicated, but shouldn't be as complicated as vision. We're not going to go into depth on itself, physiology, processes here, but it's still a little bit tricky. Yeah, we started our discussion with the outer ear last week. As we know, the first part of the outer ear we talked about was the actual ear lobe itself, that external portion of the ear, which main function is going to be to funnel sound funnel sound waves into that ear canal, right? Should make our ear canal hollow. That might be better. Let's make this like this. There we go. So the inner ear extends anteriorly, forming the ear canal. So the ear canal itself is still part of the outer ear. So if we want to think about things that cover the outer ear, we should be talking about the actual external ear and the ear canal, right? So the main function of the actual external portion of the ear is to funnel sound waves to that ear canal. Now the outer ear terminates at something called the eardrum, which is a very thin piece of connective tissue that separates the outer ear from the middle ear, right? We're not done talking about the inner ear yet. Because the inner ear actually has some neat physiological responsibilities for passing sound waves to the eardrum. So obviously that ear canal, lots of bad things can happen. This ear canal is basically lined by skin. So there's epidermal linings on either side of this ear canal. So this ear canal has to function in order to help make sure that it can maintain sound waves getting into and out of the ear. So any tiny particle that can be in that ear canal could potentially affect sound waves actually hitting that eardrum. So something that some people's ears have, and some people have it more than others, are hair. So at the opening of ground markers about trash, go over there. We'll make green hairs. Neon green hairs. There's hair toward the opening of the inner ear, and most of you could probably come up with a reason why there would be hair there. This hair is basically helping in preventing hair is basically helping to prevent small particles from getting inside the ear canal. Because if something happened and some small particle got inside the ear canal, every small particle could potentially deflect sound waves away from that ear canal. So I make sure those aren't in there. Let's erase those. If you remember back in A&P2, we talked a little bit about different skin gland types. And one of the kind of odd skin gland types was called ceraminiferous glands, or earwax glands. Earwax glands is fun. So you have special earwax glands that line the ear canal. And that secrete earwax to that ear canal. Well, what might that earwax be important for? Most of you have probably seen your own earwax at one point. Earwax is very sticky. And naturally, earwax is supposed to, when it's secreted into this ear canal, it's supposed to naturally pass to the external portion of the ear and out your ear. That's why some of you might, in the morning when you wake up, have earwax like sitting in your ear. It's kind of nasty, yellowish looking, right? basically, this sticky earwax is designed to catch particles. So any type of particles in your ear will get caught in that earwax. Because of the natural tendency for earwax to drain out of your ear, it will help drain those particles from your ear. Right? Now, some people's ears don't drain as well as others. I remember at one point in time I thought I was going deaf. I couldn't hear very well, and I went to the doctor, and they put one of those little like water pick things in my ear, and they popped out earwax that was like this gigantic. Because I have apparently in my left ear I have a narrow ear canal, so that you can get earwax buildup if you have something like that. And obviously that's not good, because if you have a gigantic piece of earwax sitting in your ear canal, how are sound waves going to get to your drum, your eardrum? So anything that could potentially occlude your ear could deflect those sound waves, and earwax could be a culprit. Right? Now, you might notice that your ears are kind of moist inside, much more moist or lubricated than the surface of your skin, even though it's just epidermis on the inside. So not only do you have glands that produce earwax to help prevent these particles from getting into your ear, earwax also helps lubricate your ears. So you could have another problem if your earwax glands aren't producing enough earwax, your ears might not be as lubricated as they need to be. And if you think about what function that might possibly provide, if the epidermis in your skin is dry and flaky, think about how flaky it can get when it's dry and it flakes off and you have little particles. All of a sudden, you have flaked off skin inside your ear. That flaked off skin could be other potential mechanisms that could deflect sound waves from actually getting to your eardrum. So these earwax glands not only catch particles, but keep that surface of your ear canal moist and lubricated so that you don't have flaky skin in there clogging your ear. And there are conditions where people's earwax glands or other glands in their ears don't produce that nice lubricant, and they have a dry ear kind of syndrome. I forget what it's called, it's like epidermis or something. That doesn't really matter. So although the ear canal is kind of boring, there are some neat little physiological functions that it undertakes. But in general, the ear canal is really just a passage so that sound waves, after funneling into your ear canal by the external ear, can actually be passed to the eardrum. And the ear canal helps function to keep this canal, this hollow entrance way clear through the earwax glands and hair cells. Right? So the eardrum, again, the eardrum is really just a really thin piece of connective tissue. It's very thin. On one side, it's pretty typical of a skin, very thin skin lining, and on the other, it's more stereotypical of kind of mucousy epithelium, more inner side. But some of you know that the inner part of your eardrum is actually connected to a bone. What's that bone called? It's the hammer, or more appropriately, the malleus. Right? So the eardrum is connected on the inside to the malleus, the hammer. So this marks, the hammer marks the middle ear. So where middle ear begins. Can't even spell me. It's just pretty stereotypical. So where the ear begins, the middle ear begins. So basically, when the sound wave hits that eardrum, it causes that eardrum to vibrate. Right? And when you have a very high frequency sound, it'll cause that eardrum to vibrate at a very high frequency. If you have a very intense, high amplitude sound wave, it'll cause a very high intense vibration of that eardrum, which causes the same high frequency or high amplitude or low frequency or low amplitude vibration of the hammer, which is inherently connected to the eardrum. So sound waves hitting the eardrum cause the hammer to vibrate. Right? So if you accidentally perforate your eardrum or bust a little hole in it, sound waves really can't vibrate the eardrum anymore, which that means your hammer can't vibrate, which will affect hearing downstream. basically, again, sound waves cause the eardrum to vibrate, which cause the hammer to vibrate, which cause the anvil to vibrate. And when the anvil vibrates, it is connected to another little tiny structure. I can draw one of these, called a stapes or stirrup. Now, most of you know that these are actually bones. Right? These are your ear ossicles. Stapes being the smallest bone in your body if you exclude your sesamoid bones, which are obviously smaller because they're very tiny. But in terms of just regular bones, your stapes is the smallest bone in the body. Right? So when a sound wave causes the eardrum to vibrate, it will cause the hammer to vibrate, which causes the anvil to vibrate, which causes the stapes to vibrate. Now, just like any other bones, these bones in your inner ear can suffer the same problems of any other bone in your body. Like maybe these little connections between the bones are basically just like joints. So we have a joint here, and we have a joint here. Just like any other joint in your body, if you genetically have rheumatoid arthritis or predisposed to arthritis or arthritic conditions, you can get arthritis in your ear ossicles. And when that happens, they have trouble vibrating. Because instead of having 3 articulated bones, you pretty much just have 1 bone. It's a lot harder to get sound to vibrate through 1 solid structure than 3 different articulated small structures. So you can have loss of hearing due to arthritis, just like any other bone condition. So these are really the main functional parts of the middle ear. So again, the middle ear is very easy. Because again, sound waves vibrate the eardrum, cause the hammer to vibrate, cause the anvil to vibrate, cause the stirrup to vibrate, the stapes to vibrate. Now there is a cavity that actually outlines the middle ear. So there is a cavity. And this cavity is actually not filled with fluid. Fluid would decrease the ability for those ear ossicles to vibrate. This cavity is actually filled with air. Very similar to the atmospheric air, because really it's connected to the atmosphere. You have a little tiny tube that connects this little cavity of your middle ear called the eustachian tube. Called the eustachian tube that connects this middle ear cavity with the nasopharynx. So if we draw an arrow down here, this will be leading to the nasopharynx, which is basically that common opening for your mouth and your nose. At many points of the day, this cavity is actually sealed off from the nasopharynx. So the eustachian tube, when you're just sitting there at your chair, your eustachian tube is actually closed. It actually opens when you move your jaw, you protrude your jaw, protract your jaw outward, or if you open your jaw very deeply, you can actually force your eustachian tube to open. So let's think about a common example where you would recognize the functionality of having this cavity connected to the outside environment. If this is just air in this cavity, so those bones can vibrate very easily, what would happen is, let's say you got an airplane and went way up in altitude and the pressure started to increase dramatically in the cabin of the